ready for a very special day. This is a very special time. Show me a hill I can climb. Give me a mountain to move, and I'll prove that it's a very special day. I woke up early this morning with gloom on my head. Had a big feeling to climb back in bed. Then I looked in the mirror and somebody said, wake up, wake up. It's time for you to lose the blues, and this is a very special treat. Tell it to everyone you meet that life is all for living and love is all for giving. So this is a very special day. Tell it to everyone along the way that this is a very special day. Early this morning with gloom on my head. Had a big feeling to climb back in bed. Then I looked in the mirror and somebody said, wake up, wake up. It's time for you to lose the blues, and this is a very special treat. Tell it to everyone you meet that life is all for living and love is all for giving. So this is a very special day. Tell it to everyone along the way that this is a very special day.
Very special day it is. It is a finally fantastic, maybe just a little Freaky Friday, and my partner in crime, my co-host this morning is Laura Lee. Laura, what other day is it?
It's a little bit frigid-y Football Friday.
A little frigid. Yeah.
Football.
Well, you know, we got that rain yesterday, so we knew, you know, what's going to happen. What's coming down the pipe there, Laura?
Ooh. It was a little cool.
We're not complaining, we're just explaining.
No,
50 degrees. We're actually cooler than, like, if we were standing in a cave right now. 50 degrees right now, currently on the ridge. We're going to warm up, and we're going to keep warming up. It looks like by noon today we'll be up to 59.
Yay!
Yeah. And then look out, by 2 o'clock, 63. So stand back. Heat wave it on.
Absolutely. Be ready.
Yeah. Let's
take
figure
your layers.
Start taking those layers off. All right, well, let's thank our sponsors.
Absolutely. We want to thank Meadowview Healthcare, Walmart, Salem Crossing, Hoosier Uplands, Celebrity Home Loans, Dr. Black's Eye Associates, Dr. Mindy Gunn, and Fox for Lee Wealth Management.
Yay, thank you to our great sponsors. Laura, we had a lot going on. Let's real quick last night. Congratulations to Eric Mills.
Yes, fantastic.
Our new police chief. What a wonderful reception. You know, the mayor had said that, you know, he invited just a few people, and, like, everybody just, like, came.
Absolutely.
It was, you know, I mean, how much support and love.
You know, Eric has been involved in this community as long as I can remember.
Yeah, his whole life, yeah.
Yeah, he's always been involved. You know what, the kids absolutely love Eric.
Mm-hmm.
They love that, you know, they all think of him with the dog.
Uh-huh.
I think it's the same. But they, you know, and I think that is a fantastic turn for our police department, with our kids, with our community. I think they couldn't have chose a better person.
Yeah, and that was just completely, everyone was saying that last night. Everyone's excited, and congratulations. And he's been with us, he's been actually with the police department for 19 years. That's pretty awesome.
That's
yeah. And it was cool because, like, all of the mayors, like Judy Chastain was mayor when he actually started. So she came last night. Wasn't that awesome? I mean, like, I just thought that was very special. You know, I know. To see, you know, like, when you first start, you think about, you know, like, someone just all of a sudden joins the police department, and all of a sudden, and 19 years, that's pretty awesome.
Long time.
Yeah. And all the things that he's gone through and saw, you know what I mean? And being a police person, man or woman, in this day and age, is a whole...
It is hard.
Yeah, whole other...
It is hard.
Yeah.
It's a thankless job, and I'm thankful that we have people willing to do that.
Yeah, and I think that leading the police department for the city of Salem, you'll be a rock star.
Absolutely.
So, I think it's awesome. So, yeah, he's already been a big part of it, so he's just going to go on and be the chief.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm super excited.
Me too. So, congratulations. Yeah. See what he's got going on. Yeah. So, anyway, and that was a ceremony last night, the big announcement. So, congratulations. And I know the community came out, and it's pretty awesome. And all the officers came out, so that's pretty cool. I mean, all of your colleagues, everybody, all the support. So that's pretty cool. And of course, the sheriff's department came out because, you know, in our community, you have so many working hand in hand with the city and the county, you know, and state even came out. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, state officers came out, so that was cool to have all three. You know, when you have the city, county, and state under one roof, it could, you know, that's pretty awesome. And support each other. That's what it's all about. You know,
absolutely.
That communication and working together. Yeah, that's good. All right, this is the 7th day of October.
Ooh, it's a
When did that happen? I know, it's crazy to think that's crazy. Today is bathtub day. Love a good bathtub.
Absolutely.
And I might be a little bit, you know, like, I like a big bathtub.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Love a good bathtub. Nothing like a big bubble bath, right?
I love all the bath bombs.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Caudell, take me away.
Absolutely.
Bathtub day, yes, love it. Kids Music Day, love that. You know how important music, you know, is growing up and actually teaching your children about music and showing them the different kinds of music. I mean, it's just awesome to expose them to, you know, from country to rock to gospel to, you know, to blues to hip hop to contemporary to classical. You know,
and all the different instruments. You know, I think back to the kids playing the recorder.
Oh,
you know, when they were in elementary, up to, you know, trying all the instruments for band.
3 blind mice, 3 blind mice.
Yes.
Mary had a little lamb.
I can play that on the piano.
Hey, I can too. Some of my superpowers, I don't always show them. You know what I mean? Kind of keep some of those tricks under my sleeves there. But yeah, if you need somebody to hit it, Becky.
It may be kindergarten music level, but I can do it.
Yeah. And isn't it funny if you see like a recorder sitting around?
Oh, yeah.
You can't help but pick it up and start.
Absolutely. You gotta give it a little try just to make sure you still got it.
Oh, baby, it's back.
You know, Metal View has, well, Salem Crossing does too. They both still have a piano in their dining room.
Oh, yeah.
So I will randomly walk up and play, you know, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Happy birthday.
But isn't it funny how, like, when you do that, I mean, like, you look around, like, did anybody just hear that? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You want to, like, stand up and bow.
Absolutely.
Take your bow. Yes, I just played Mary Had a Little Lamb. You know what I mean?
Maybe 4 notes,
That's right.
but I did it.
Yeah, and it sounded good. Yeah,
Good.
you knew what it was. You could recognize that.
Absolutely.
You know, I took a little bit of piano lessons. Piano was not my thing. I really wanted to learn. It just wasn't, it did not, but, you know, I played guitar.
You know,
The guitar, the guitar was my thing.
Yeah.
But
I always think of Miss Stephens. I went to West Washington,
Yeah.
so she did
Oh, my
all of the
goodness.
little music concerts. Every grade had a
Love
different
her.
concert,
Love her.
and, you know, she taught me the songs that I do know.
Uh-huh.
But, yeah.
Yeah, she was wonderful. She's a rock star. She was fantastic. And then just like Sarah Miner over at Salem.
Yes.
I tell you right now, you talk about blessed schools on that. Yeah, fantastic. All right, so Kids Music Day, very important, and, you know, introduce them to all kinds of music.
Absolutely.
Manufacturing Day.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm. National Denim Day, and it's funny.
Ooh.
You got your jeans on?
I do have my jeans on because it's Football Friday.
Yeah. I love denim. And it's so popular right now, you know, from your jean jackets to your jeans to your shirt. Yeah, looks so good, too. National Denim Day. And anyway, I like all kinds of different.
Me too. Me too.
National Diversity Day.
Ooh.
You can be diverse with your genes.
Absolutely.
You get the holy ones. Yeah. And your music. Oh, yeah. National Flower Day. What's your favorite kind of flower, Laura?
Probably sunflowers.
That's really cool.
I really like sunflowers. Jeremy always gets me these like peachy orange roses for Valentine's Day.
Love that.
They're one of my favorites, but I really like sunflowers.
I think probably the flower that's whatever's in front of you.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love, you know, I mean, I'm kind of like you. I like so many.
Yeah.
But I do love, I love a good rose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I love a yellow rose and I love a red rose.
Yeah.
A good solid red rose is just beautiful, right? I mean, I don't know. I love flowers.
I know. I think it depends on the season,
Yeah,
too. Like,
whatever.
I love my mums right now. I have beautiful mums from the softball girls.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, and then I love sunflowers. I'm with you.
I have this little hummingbird
daisies,
vine,
yeah.
and I don't know. It's got these beautiful little red flowers. I have no idea what it's
I
called.
have that.
Or
I have that
anything.
too. Yeah, and it comes up every year.
Yes.
It's a volunteer.
Yes.
It just comes up.
It
Yeah,
comes back every year.
and it will.
It's beautiful though. So I don't know. I think whatever season it is.
Yeah.
I've kind of got a different flower.
No, I know. Yeah, I'm with you. I like them all. And I love a tulip too.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
tulips are so, when you see those in spring coming
And
up.
all the different lilies.
They're beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we're just going to say National Flower Day. We just love them all.
Absolutely. Depends on the season.
Yeah. Whatever's in front of us.
Absolutely.
Whatever we're presented with.
Yeah. Agree.
National Forgiveness and Happiness Day.
Ooh,
And I think
they kind of
if
go
you-
hand in hand.
Yes. Have forgiveness and then you will have happiness.
Absolutely.
Ooh, Frappe Day.
Ooh.
I wonder what McDonald's is doing down there with their frappe. The good frappe from McDonald's.
Don't they have a pumpkin spice frappe right now, I think?
Yes, McDonald's, yes.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
loving
pretty
it.
sure they do.
Yeah. I want to get a frappe day. National Inner Beauty Day. Love that.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I think we've really started doing that more so.
I think so too.
That inner beauty. Yeah.
I think so.
National LED Light Day.
Ooh.
So, there's a big difference. I have two different bulbs, okay? One lamp has got the LED, and one lamp has got the soft glow. So it depends on, like, do I want to be a little bright, in the room? I need to change it. I need to have them on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like, how like you grab, and I grabbed an LED, and then I grabbed a soft light. So they don't matchy-matchy, and I like matchy-matchy, okay? I'm a matchy-matchy, okay?
Yeah.
So it depends on when I turn one of the lamps on, I have that LED look. You know what I mean? Kind of that blue LED look, right? And then when I turn the other one on, it's like a soft glow. You know what I mean? I'm going to bring it down a little bit over here.
Business in the front, party in the back.
There you go. That's exactly right.
Except with lamps.
I know. Note to self. Make sure you have the same bulbs, okay?
That's funny.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
even think about that.
Yeah, it's true. It's so true. So, anyway, I can't decide what I like better. I think I like the song.
Yeah.
Kind of setting the tone there, especially right now. The Halloween.
Yeah.
The fall and everything. I don't know. And then
I
I'll
never buy
brighten it up.
light bulbs, so I never buy light bulbs.
Do you
so-
not? Okay.
No, because I always do like energy pack thing, where they send you so many free ones.
Yeah.
So I literally have a drawer of free ones.
Are they matchy-matchy?
They are
I think they're the LED ones. I don't think you get the soft glow, do you?
I don't have a clue.
Well, I wonder.
I don't know.
There's a
I don't
big
ever buy
difference.
them,
There's a
but-
big difference. Well, and then hang on. I just want to say something right now. And we're going to be, I know it's a little off, or a little early. I'm not trying to, everybody to be screaming at the radio. But when you go pick out Christmas lights, you have to keep it the same consistency.
Yes, you do.
You can't have those LED and then the regular ones. I mean, you have two different glows going on, right? So you have to really, this is things to think about.
Absolutely.
Okay? You got a lot on your plate. You thought you had nothing to think about.
Oh, there is a lot. I seen on Facebook.
I can show you in my living room two different.
Oh, my land.
Behind door number 1, behind door number 2.
You're gonna have to take a picture.
I will. I'll show you the different. Yeah. Which do you like?
I seen yesterday on Facebook that people are already listening to Christmas music.
I know.
I'm not judging.
No.
You know what, 'cause-
You know what? I can do it in July. I'm sorry.
Some days,
Yeah.
you just need that.
Oh,
peace.
absolutely. I'm not completely. You're not. No. you're talking about, I love Christmas.
Oh, me too.
So I can do Christmas music anytime.
You know, when I was putting all my fall decorations out and my Christmas is sitting there in the totes, and I'm thinking, wonder if anyone would even notice if I just
to the grands. I have a lot of grand
Oh,
little
yeah.
boys. So as soon as I start singing, he sees you when you're sleeping. He knows. They get big eyes. And so we've been talking about the naughty list.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
are we going to be on the naughty list or are we going to be on the good list? You know what I mean? So we had one that entered into the naughty list. And I said, you just got a few months to make this right. You got to get over. You know what I mean? He's trying. He's trying so hard. So all I have to do is start singing, he sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good. Oh, my goodness. He just goes, it's so fun. It is so much fun. Yeah. So he's like, I'm trying. He's trying so hard. He's trying so hard. Gonna have to get to that good list.
That's
It happens.
super sweet.
Yeah. It's very cute. So I love it. Of course, I know it's a little early, but you got to work on yourself.
Absolutely.
Got a couple months to start saying, Santa, I can explain.
Absolutely.
I can explain.
You better get your story straight. Work on it now.
This is also, let's see here. World Smile Day.
Ooh.
That's universal.
You know what, though? I know 99% of people don't have to wear masks anymore, but we still have to wear them.
Yeah.
In,
Medical.
the hospitals and the nursing homes. And I feel like that's still something that our residents miss is because they don't get to see you smile. And I don't know.
Well, sure. I mean,
I'm missing their smiles.
Yeah.
It just makes your day better seeing,
Yeah.
that somebody's smiling.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I agree 100%. Yeah.
I mean, it is better since, the majority of people don't have to wear them. You do still get to see smiles, but I'm just used to seeing them in the nursing homes,
Sure, no doubt. Yeah, I agree. And it's somewhere though, like no matter what, if you go like to another country or wherever you go, you might not know, the words they're saying, but when you see that smile,
Absolutely.
you know that everything's good.
Absolutely.
Right? And a smile's just a smile. And I love the adults. I think the adults, we need to smile at children. I think children,
Absolutely.
you know what I mean? I love that, just smile.
It's just that reassurance.
It is. And, or just, anyone, just smile. Yeah. Smiles. I like smiles. Well, I'm trying to think of Elf. What does he say? Smiling. I like smiling.
I like smiling.
You matter to me day. Ooh, that's so good. Tell someone they matter to them, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Laura, you matter to me.
Well, you matter to me too, Miss Becky White.
I love that. Isn't that nice?
A good one.
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah. Love that. So get out and enjoy for sure. And we are supposed to have a call in. He might have got busy with the DNA. Joe in Caudell. We've actually spoke to Joe before, and he's going to be talking about, of course, we know hunting season's going on. We're talking about some of the things that are going on in the woods out there. So we'll see if he's with the fishing. He's actually in the DNR division of Fish and Wildlife. So we'll find out about that.
Awesome.
Also, Laura, going on, let's see here. We have football tonight.
Yes.
Full throttle, all three county teams.
Yes.
The Colts got a win last night.
Oh
Wasn't
my
that crazy?
goodness.
That was insane.
Woo!
That was insane.
Yeah.
I wore my Colts today. That's why.
You
yeah.
did.
And,
You
yeah,
did wear
I'm so
your
proud of
Colts
them.
today.
Yeah. I'm so proud of them. Yeah. I'll take a win, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We can get it.
Yeah. So I'm happy about that. We'll see what else we got going on. I just put up on Facebook if you want to go to the Halloween at the Holiday World. It's so much fun. I love it. They have dancing. They have trick-or-treating. They have all kinds of they have like a scary house, but it's not too bad.
Not too scary.
Yeah. And when you go in, they have smells. Like each room has a different smell. Yeah, so it's kind of a different. Yeah. So I believe this is Joe. I believe it. Good morning. Is this our good cup of Joe?
Hey, Rebecca.
Hi, Joe. Joe Caudell with and you are the state research biologist with the Indiana DNR Division of Fish and Wildlife. So good to have you this morning. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning.
And of course, this is Becky, but I also have Laura with me this morning.
Good morning.
So that other voice you hear is a voice from heaven, Laura. So Joe, let's jump in. Are you in the woods right now?
No, I'm not. I am in my office in Bloomington.
Okay. I always picture you every time we speak. I always think of you in the woods somewhere.
That would be nice. That would be ideal.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. You ought to tell them you need to move your office outside, you know?
That's right.
Well, we're so glad to talk to you, and let's talk a little bit about what's going on. Last time we spoke, I believe it's been a minute. It's been a few minutes, and we talked about some of the different, like, remember, I think the deer were having some trouble with diseases and stuff. So let's talk about all the things going on. And of course, we know hunting is underway. So let's jump right in, Joe.
Yeah, well, like you said, hunting season, archery season started, and actually we've already had youth season. That was earlier than that, and that was great. It was beautiful weather. It was cool. You know, I think folks definitely got out and took advantage of that weather. But yeah, so far it's been great. This weather has been incredible. You know, with the leaves turning, I mean, it's a great time to be sitting out in the woods looking for deer.
Absolutely. I think we are so spoiled. I think it's been a long time since we've had such a length where we've had such beautiful weather. Don't you feel like this is really a blessing?
Yeah, I mean, it really has been a while. I live over towards Nashville, and I mean, just to drive home every day right now is just absolutely gorgeous, and I don't remember it being like this for, I mean, at least several years. It's been usually so dry, and, you know, it just seems like the leaves are just dropping off, but this year it's been great.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that's something that we need to really stop and smell the roses and enjoy. I love this time of year. I love the leaves, and I love the fall, and I think we are so blessed, and, you know, not everybody in other states get to see all this.
Yeah, this is a lot like where I grew up in the Appalachians in Georgia, and kind of living in this part of Indiana is great. I've lived in several different places in Indiana, and by far, kind of this south central region has been my favorite.
That's awesome. Yeah, it is definitely a beautiful area. And we down here in the southern part of the state, we're getting very blessed too. It's very beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about going on as far as. Let's kind of go and what are you seeing? Are we learning about safety? Are people, you know, doing it right, doing things good? Are we?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you know, we usually, you know, I tend to be very positive and optimistic about our hunters. You know, I mean, you know, they get out. I think they do it right. They check in their deer, which is good, and they do things like fill out my surveys so we can learn more about the deer. So I don't know if you know this. So when you harvest a deer and you go and check it in online, you actually have an opportunity to tell me about your deer. And so we ask you things like how much it weighs, and, you know, if it was a doe, and if it was lactating, and how long it took you to harvest it. And a lot of this data is actually what goes into us being able to manage deer, and we actually rely on hunters to provide that, because, you know, back in the day we had our check stations where you had to physically bring the deer, you know, to a location. A lot of times there was a biologist there, and they would take these measurements and they would age it and all that kind of stuff, and that was the data that went into trying to help manage the deer population. But since we don't have that anymore, what we're trying to do is get hunters involved with things like this, what we call our after-hunt survey. Right now we have a program called the Archer's Index, and that's where bow hunters who are hunting this time of year can actually, what they do is that they sign up with us, they sign up on our webpage, and they write down what they're seeing in the woods. And so, you know, you might write down, I was out hunting today, I saw 3 does and 2 bucks and a squirrel and a chipmunk and something else. And then they do that all through archery season, and then at the end of archery season, or at the end of, right before gun season, kind of that early archery season, they send it back to us. And that actually goes into a lot of our data, but especially the deer part of it. And so, you know, that's another way that hunters can actually be involved in the management of deer, and with the Archer's Index, even other species.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's pretty awesome.
Well, you you see something, say something, and and you have more. They have, there's more of them than there are of you, and so why not? Give the report. I think that's wonderful.
And like you just pointed out, they're in the woods, and I don't get to be in the woods all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Not that there's any jealousy in your voice.
Not at all. Not at all. I'm happy for them.
Yeah.
That's awesome that they're out in the woods on a day like today, and I'm in the office.
Yeah. Again, I'm in the office. When you take that up a little bit, not a note higher there, I might hear a tone there, Joe.
Yeah, but
I don't blame you. I completely I completely understand. But let's go back on some of the different, I guess, waterways and waters and stuff as far as like are keeping healthy and stuff. Are the deer, are everything healthy now as far as
Well, so we're going to probably see an outbreak or occurrences. I wouldn't necessarily call it an outbreak of EHD or blue tongue. A lot of people call it different diseases, and that's that epizootic hemorrhagic disease. And so right now, the folks over towards Franklin County and Union and Fayette and Wayne and some of those counties over there, they're actually seeing it really heavy like we saw in this part of the world back in like 2019. And so, but all throughout southern Indiana, I get hunters and other people that have to be hunters reporting that they're seeing sick and dead deer, and those clinical signs, those observations are consistent with EHD. And they go on and report those on our sick and dead deer reporting form, and that's real easy to get to. It's on.in.gov/sick-wildlife. Super easy website to know. And what they do is they're going on there and they're putting in their location. They're saying, hey, I saw a deer, or I saw 3 deer, and it was maybe I saw 2 deer, and those were dead, and they were next to the water, and then I saw 1 deer, and they're putting in like what they're observing. And so from, again, people participating and helping out with that data collection, we're finding that we're getting just a few calls, maybe 5 or 6 per county, and we're learning that is just kind of our normal background EHD, what's going on every year. And we didn't know this before because we didn't have this really excellent reporting system that some of our folks have put together for us. But then it also helps us manage really large or significant events like we're seeing over in Franklin County or like we saw here in 2019. But yeah, with EHD, I think it's just something we'll see every year, and then this helps us gauge how serious it is in each county, and then like we did in 2019, or like we did this year with Franklin and some of those counties over there, we were actually able to go in and reduce the quotas a little bit to help offset the effects of EHD. But again, the public and our hunters really using that reporting system has been an incredible benefit to us, because like you said, there's really so few people actually work for Fish and Wildlife, and the number of eyes that are out there with game cameras and just out hunting and using the woods and so forth, we could never match that. And so having folks report that has been incredible.
Right. I've seen some wives get very creative. I don't know if you, I watch TikTok all the time, get very creative on going in front of their husband's cameras out there.
Oh, no, I haven't seen this.
I think they're the true deer. DEAR. I don't know. Okay. Well, going back on, what are we seeing in the woods? Are we, we're hearing bobcats are out there. Have we seen any bears, Joe, here in Indiana?
We see a bear just infrequently. It seems like it's usually just one that's, kind of out exploring, and it's come over from Illinois or Kentucky or something like that. But I don't think we've had any reports this year. And so, we're not seeing that. Like you said, we've got, quite a fair fair bit of bobcats in southern Indiana right now, but, you know, just kind of the normal things, squirrels, turkeys, deer, you know, lots of deer. Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, it's just that great time to be out in the woods, you know, in the fall, and it's nice and cool, and you can sit there, and, you know, birds, you know, it's interesting, because I know a lot of really dedicated hunters who, over time, become really avid bird watchers. You're sitting there, and you know you're waiting for a deer. Maybe you see one. It's like, I think I'll wait for a different one or whatever. And then they get really into like watching and observing and identifying the various birds. And of course, you're having some that are migrating through this time of year, so you're seeing some really interesting things. And so that's kind of just a good side hobby that, you know, especially those hunters who are, you know, just super into it in the woods. Like every chance they get, like, you know, they come home from work, they grab their gear, and they're out in the woods. You know, that's the time these birds are active. And so, you know, a lot of hunters just really get into birding over time, which I found just really fascinating.
So a good Christmas present would be like a bird identifying book.
Ooh, that's
that would be great. Or, you know, I know a lot of folks take their phones out with them, one of the really good bird ID apps or something. But yeah, either one of those would be awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty. That is cool. That's a good idea. So, what are some kind of birds that are coming through? What?
Becky's off on
Ask me
birds.
about birds. I'm horrible with my birds. I'm definitely not one of those people who ever really got into bird watching when I'm out deer hunting.
Yeah. Well, you know, but now speaking of that, how blessed are we? I mean, this is like, I'm so happy that eagles. Look at that. I mean, you can see eagles, I mean, all around now. How wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely one of our success stories in wildlife management is, you know, the recovery of, you know, eagles and, I mean, just a lot of our bird species out there. You know, waterfowl. I mean, waterfowl was in trouble for a long time. And, yeah, I think some people think we might have overdone it on geese. Yeah, you know, it's kind of hard to have that perfect target, you know, without sometimes going over it. But, yeah, for the most part, you know, we've done a good job on some of these species, and then, you know, others are a little bit more difficult because they're either secretive or, you know, they have a very specific habitat requirement or, you know, something like that. But, you know, what's interesting is where hunters tend to hunt, which is, you know, we think of deer as in what we call an edge species. And so deer like where things change. And so on one side, you know, you might have, let's say, a field or a cornfield or a bean field or something like that, and then you've got like a woodlot. And it's at that intersection where deer really thrive. And so it's that edge of one habitat or one area to another. And that's also where a lot of other species really like that. They really like that interface. And so that's probably one of the reasons why deer hunters and people who actually sit on those edges, like for turkey hunting or whatever, will also observe a lot of other wildlife at the same time.
That's cool. That's pretty neat. Well, and I think, you know, when you see them, you know, it's just they're just so, you know, and see how they've been protected and how we as a state has really worked hard to, you know, to manage. I think I'm so happy about that for sure. And I think, like what you're saying, I didn't know that about deer. So deer like change.
Yeah, they really do. And so, you know, if you've got an area that has really kind of old trees, you know, not necessarily what, you know, you hear about old growth trees, but I'm just talking about older trees. So, you know, like, you know, you get your hardwoods and they're, I don't know, 60, 70, 80 years old, and you don't have a lot of stuff underneath it. You don't have a lot of that understory. You don't have a lot of brush. It's actually really great areas to walk through, and a lot of people be like, oh, I'll just throw my climbing stand on my back, and it's really easy to get through. Those areas like that actually don't hold as many deer as when you get into, let's say, a forest that's only like 5 or 6 years old. And, you know, that 5 5 or 6 year old forest that's after, you know, a cut or some management or something that's gone on, is real thick. There's a lot of briars. There's a lot of brush. You know, it's really hard to get through. You know, it's something you look at and go, if I walk through that, I'm going to be picking off ticks for a week. That is incredible deer habitat. And so, especially if you find an area that's on the edge of that big forest that we're just talking about, and this brushy young forest that we're talking about, that is by far ideal deer habitat. I mean, that's really where, you know, I'm going to focus my efforts as a hunter, because I know that, because basically deer will use all that stuff that's low to the ground. They'll use it for food. They'll use it for cover. You know, especially during gun season, you know, when they kind of figure out that, okay, there's a lot more people out here in the woods, and, you know, some of my buddies seem to be going missing.
Yeah.
That's a good place to go hide. And so it's really interesting. Some of the research out of Mississippi State, which does a lot of deer research, they actually radio collared deer and found that a lot of these bucks that, you know, people really want, you know, these bigger, older animals, that smarter animals that have figured this out over time, a lot of time they're just hunkering down in the daytime in that kind of, you know, what we call young forest, or, you know, early successional is like a lot of times what sometimes biologists call it, but it's basically that thick, brushy stuff that grows up about 3, 4, 5 years after a cut. But that is incredible cover for deer, and it's a lot of food there, so they can just kind of stand up, munch a little bit, and sit back down. They don't have to move very far. Those are the kind of places that will hold a lot of deer, and then of course at nighttime they can get up. A lot of times that's why I think, like some of our hunters will say, well, I don't see deer during the daytime, but man, at night they're in the bean fields and that kind of stuff. It's like, yeah, they're down in that brushy stuff in the daytime, hiding from you. You know, they know what's going on. And then, you know, at night they feel safer getting up and moving around. So, but yeah, deer just really like those intersections of, you know, one forest type or one habitat type to another.
Right, and that, you know, you can't blame them. That's pretty. That makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, when you explain it, there's a method to their madness. I mean,
there is. I mean, you know, they kind of, you know, figure things out, and you know, that's how some of these bucks get to be older. You know, because they figure out what the score is, and they figure out places that, you know, are safe, and you know, that thick cover like that is some of the best fawning habitat. That's where a doe really wants to put her fawn at, and so, you know, because that will actually protect it from coyotes and bobcats and other predators that are out there. It's that thick cover that, you know, helps them hide, and this, you get me talking about this and I get all excited.
Yeah, you're fine. That's good. We want you to be. That's right. You're DNR. You should be. This is awesome.
So the older does, a lot of times what they will do is they get to pick the best spot. And so, you know, those are the ones who have been around. They know they pick those better areas. And then if there's like some other does that, you know, are getting less and less dominant, or, you know, a lot of times younger, they might have to pick the areas that aren't quite as good. Like, let's just say just an open area under a tree somewhere. A lot of times those are the ones that are going to get picked off by the coyotes, because the coyote's just walking through the forest and he looks over and goes, hey, oh look, there's a fawn over there. Awesome. Well, I guess they don't really talk like that. I don't know what a coyote actually sounds like in its mind. But it, you know, it observes what's going on, and then but it can't see the ones that's in that really, really thick brush. And so that's why, you know, that those different types of forest ages are actually so important for things like deer management. There's a lot of bird species that really thrive in kind of that thick area, and so that's why a lot of times it's good to have a lot of variation in like the age of these forests, at least for wildlife management. You know, and this is again very specific for deer and these edge species and that kind of stuff, whereas other species really like those big, kind of closed-in forest. And so, each animal just has its own preference and what it's adapted to.
I'm going to knock on wood. I don't deer hunt generally, except in my car, but it's been a couple years.
Yeah. And there's, when they come at you, there's no stopping them. They're coming full throttle.
Yeah, and especially this time of year, this is the breeding season for deer. And what's usually going on are, especially the bucks, they are out roaming around looking for the does. And, they've got that on their mind. They're not thinking straight. And a lot of times this is why we hit a lot more deer during this time of year. And some of the other research has gone on in some other states. I think they've looked at this in Georgia and a couple of others. That proportion, that increase from kind of our normal deer collisions that we have like all the time every year, it really jumps up in October and November and towards the end of December. It'll well more than double. So let's say if on a given road you might see 1 or 2 deer dead, per month, you might see 10 dead deer during those seasons. And a lot of times those will be bucks because they're out roaming around, they're looking for these does, they're moving across the landscape a lot. They're moving through fields and forests trying to find these does, and they get hit. And so, this is a time that people really need to be watching out for that, being aware, really paying attention. Like I just said, deer really thrive in these edge areas. And so if you think about it, if you're driving along the road and on one side of the road you've got a forest or a wood lot, and on the other side of the road maybe you've got a bean or a cornfield or just an open field, you are driving right through that intersection. And so, this is where, you might get deer that actually just live in that general area. And then you've got bucks who are also moving through there. And so in those types of areas, you need to be even more aware and really paying attention, as opposed to, if you think about, let's say northern Indiana, maybe we're driving through some of the areas and, I don't know, like Tippecanoe or White or Clinton County, some of those counties, where you just got big cornfields on each side of the road. You're in the middle of kind of that area, and so a lot of times we're less likely to see deer. But if, even up in those areas, if you had a big woodlot on one side and then fields on the other, you're driving through that intersection, you're driving through that area that deer really thrive in. And so being aware, especially when you're driving through that type of condition is really important.
Right. Well, and we talked about this too. It's harvest season around here.
Absolutely.
And of course that makes them hop too, hop and bop, around with all the harvesting going on.
Yeah, because you may have deer who are normally hanging out in these fields and stuff, and then all of a sudden the combines and other equipment gets out in these fields, and it's just really pushing these deer around into different places. And then that changes their pattern. They're not quite as comfortable as, I know I'm going here and then over here and then back over here later on in the evening. And so once all that changes, essentially if you get any change on the land, that will change that pattern of behavior for the deer. I don't know if, I think a lot of people can relate to this, because if you think about it, you might see deer in your backyard certain times of the year, but then all of a sudden they just seem to disappear. A lot of times that's because that food resource or something has changed. And so, in my area, we see some does and their fawns in the spring. Come hunting season, they just disappear. They're just gone. And then long about April, maybe March, something like that, all of a sudden they reappear. And all they're doing is shifting shifting their habit to another part of their home range, because where I live, it's just one of these old forest areas where there's not a lot of food, there's not a lot of cover underneath, and so they have to move to a different part of a doe group will live in about an area about a half a square mile or 3/4 of a square mile, and so they're not just in my corner, they're just over somewhere else right now, and they're just shifting because of food. And so if a farmer harvests a field, that's going to cause deer to shift and move around to a different area as well.
Very interesting. Well, okay, I'm going to just switch gears for a second, because I do want to talk about safety, hunting safety and everything too, because we want to make sure that everybody, but I do have a real quick question I just want to insert in. Mushrooms, okay, because that's another form of hunting. Everybody's got their, style. But it seemed like we didn't have very many mushrooms. And I know with you being a biologist, is that something, what's the good conditions? Why do we not have very many mushrooms, it seemed like this year?
Yeah, you're asking the wrong person. I'm definitely not a mushroom biologist.
Now, Joe, I think you need to do your research on that, okay? I want some help on that, okay?
Well, and to be honest, it's like I didn't realize mushrooms were such a big deal until I moved to Indiana. I mean, in some of the places I've lived in, like Georgia and Texas and places like that, mushroom hunting just isn't that big a deal. But man, I come here and I'm like, wow, mushrooms are huge. I even had some growing in my front yard when we lived down in Shoals for a while. And, the neighbor was like, oh my gosh, you've got rails there. I'm like, yeah, you want them? And so, yeah, I just didn't really get it. So, yeah, a lot of people will tell you I'm not much of a fungi.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I got you. I got you. Well, I just thought I just really wanted to know, because, it is a really, it is completely
almost a delicacy.
It is, and we take it very serious. My dad would always say that people will, share their darkest, deepest secrets, but they won't share their mushrooms. Where they find their mushrooms. But it is true, and that with biology and everything, and of course the way it has to happen, and I don't know all that, but the fungus, the way it's created, I know there has to be a way of knowing maybe a little bit of how to do it, or why this year seemed to be weaker than some of the years past. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right. So we're going to go back. Okay. So now I just wanted to jump in there for a second. So, Joe, let's go back to hunter safety and how important it is. I heard someone say the other day, that when you go out into your own property, you need to be aware that there might be somebody else on your property too. Sometimes those lines are kind of hard to, to distinguish.
Yeah, and even just nearby, you can have somebody hunting even just close to, your land. So, definitely, of course, the first thing is, whenever you're in a tree stand, it is so important to, harness up and make sure you're wearing those harnesses, because, one of the worst feelings in the world is when you hit the ground after falling out of a tree stand, and then you're like, oh, I've got to figure out what to do next, and so definitely, wearing those harnesses, even on private land, making sure, you've got that hunter orange on during firearm season. That's extremely important. It's a law, but it's also just, it's that way to protect people, because, it's real easy to kind of detect movement, and then, that's what that hunter orange does, is it lets other people know that, okay, I hear that movement, but then I see this color that's just not normally in nature over there, and maybe I still can't see the full, body of this person, but I can definitely see this hunter orange. And so, those types of things are extremely important. Carrying firearms properly, even properly carrying and storing archery equipment is important. And so, luckily, the rate of injuries is actually fairly low with hunting, and I think it really is a testament to, people keep themselves safe and making an effort to do that. And so, we just, every chance we get, we want to keep encouraging that.
Right, and I think it's good. I think you can do a wonderful job, and I think, I know our schools are even on board, and making sure that, hunter safety and making sure that people, know, which is important, and I think that it's a good thing for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joe, if you do, let me ask something about the bobcat. If you're out in the woods and you come upon one, are they aggressive, or what should you do?
No, I mean, typically, most animals, they're on the watch out for us, and they hear us, and when they detect us, they're typically trying to go the other direction. And so, it is frequent, or not frequent, but it is definitely more frequent now than it was, in past years, that hunters may be sitting in their tree stand. Of course, they're sitting there, they're being quiet, they're trying to avoid being seen by a deer, and of course then they're not being seen by other animals as well, and they will see bobcats and other predators come very close to them. And typically, to me, that's a great time to sit and actually observe and learn some about these other animals and find out what they're doing, because typically they're going to just continue on their way. But let's say that we're down on the ground and we're hiking in or out, and we run across one of these, just make a little bit of noise, just because obviously it's like, well, if you come across each other, maybe you were being quiet and the wind was blowing, away from you, so you were downwind from that guy, and just didn't detect you. But just a little bit of noise will let that animal know that you're there, and then typically they're gonna make an exit somewhere else, either come back to where they came from, or they're going to head off down a different path. And so, typically that works with most animals out there to stay safe when you're around them.
Right. Now, what about the coyotes? We have a lot of coyotes down here, and I know that they. I don't want to say anything bad, but they kind of take sometimes your small animals, your own pets, And that's something that we've had a lot of concerns on, I know, in our community.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times it's, just knowing that that's going to happen out there. I mean, it's always a possibility. And, this will happen in an urban area just like it will happen out in a rural area. So for a while, I actually worked in Las Vegas. And it was very interesting being a wildlife biologist of a different sort out there. And we would get a lot of calls, especially, there are a lot of coyotes out there, and people who live kind of on the fringe of the city, especially if they're trying to grow chickens or, small pets and things like that, they would get coyotes that would come down, and the best thing that people can do is make sure they put their animals up, and so we've got goats on our place, and every night they get put up because we hear the coyotes off down in the holler, and I don't think they would bother them, but just to be on the safe side, we bring them in and put them up. That's the same thing we would do with our chickens every night. You just bring them in and put them up, and that's really the best thing you can do, is just take that proactive step to protect those guys from any of the predators that might be out.
Right, exactly. Well, and that's something that I think, I know in our area, you can hear them, boy, they hit it.
Oh yeah, it's kind of cool, especially this time of the, this time of the year, to be sitting out and, sitting by a fire and hear those guys, all of a sudden start, going back and forth and stuff. It can be a bit chilling, but, for the most part, they're not going to come in and bother people, or anything like that. And so, it's a really kind of, fascinating experience, because you can do that even, like sitting in a town like, Nashville or Salem or somewhere like that, and actually hear that going on. And so, that's the one thing one of the things I really like about this area is you do get that sense of that kind of intersection I said, we live near Nashville and kind of that interface there, and it's just it's great. So, but yeah, if you're concerned about it, or you got small animals, livestock, that kind of stuff, it's a good idea just to put them up.
Well, I think we're gonna. I'm gonna talk to you off the radio, and we're gonna find out where that home is in Shoals that had those mushrooms. I'm gonna have you draw me a map of where that home is at.
Sure, we don't live there anymore. Go right ahead.
I know. Yeah, there you go. I got the okay from Joe. Hey, Joe. Really? Okay. One more question. Okay, and we have to ask this. Okay, because it would not be our radio station because we've held many of hunts for. Well, have we in the state of Indiana? Have there been any sighting of Bigfoot? Is there any Bigfoot sighting?
No, I'm not a fun guy.
Okay.
I think you would have to talk to our mammologist about that. They don't, as far as I know, they don't have antlers, and so, my professional interest kind of ends there.
Okay, wrong department. Okay, all right. Well, I was just checking, so we can clear the air. If there's been any sightings or anybody, called in that has seen, anything, any kind of activity there on that.
Yeah, how is that for deflecting that help onto somebody else? There we go.
I know, you're very good at that, Joe.
That must have been the practice.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we had actually, we've actually held, where we've had the Bigfoot hunts and stuff, and
okay.
We've done this, a few times, and had a lot of fun, and it gets people out in the woods. It kind of shows them some ideas, and it's always that little bit of a dream, that what's out there, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, Joe's like,
Yeah, he's done with today. He's done with
all right,
you.
Joe, Joe's never going to answer my emails or anything ever
Nope,
again.
he was
Joe's
like,
done with
nope.
me. Okay, I'm writing you off. Becky White, you're done. Okay. All right. Joe, I hope we can redeem ourselves, and yes, you have to have a little fun out there. Why not? You know what I mean?
That's right.
It's the woods. It's enjoying, and we want to keep. We know nature is so valuable and so important, and and I know right now, and I don't want to. I'm not trying to say that that a lot of video games are very important, but you know what? Getting out, walking the woods, getting out, taking your younger ones and taking them hunting, teaching them the rules, the respect of our wildlife. I love every bit of that.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah. So Joe, listen, thank you so much for talking with us, giving us some good ideas, and keeping us in the know. And we are always so happy to talk with you and check in with us, or anything new coming up. Let us know, okay? Let me know.
I'll do.
Okay, Joe. Thank you, and have a wonderful weekend.
Happy
okay?
Friday.
Happy Friday.
Y'all too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, he's the biologist in Indiana DNR Division of Fish and Wildlife. And I don't think you like to talk about Bigfoot.
No, he was done with you. When
Yeah, I know.
brought
Yeah.
up Bigfoot.
Okay, we are over. Okay.
Yep. He was like, this
He
woman
broke up
is
with us, Laura.
Too much.
Yeah, he's done. But you kind of got that. You got to have that,
You have
right?
to slide it in if you
Yeah,
can.
and I'm actually a part of the Bigfoot Association, so I take that serious. Yeah. You've never heard Matt Abbott do the Bigfoot call. You know what I mean? I'm telling you right now.
No, I have not.
If Bigfoot's coming in, he's going to bring him in. Let me tell you. It's a beautiful call. The calls are wild, for sure. Okay, there we go, Laura. Anyway, looks like a busy weekend for everyone. Please go to my Facebook, Rebecca White. Check it out. Share that post because they have started over at Holiday World with their Halloween tradition. And
Absolutely.
Laura, it's so much fun. I love the summer, and I love the water. I stay in the water till they tell me it's time to go home.
Absolutely.
But one of my favorites is actually this fall. Fall. Yeah. And you do so many fun things. So, yeah. It's spectacular. Yeah. Yeah, something like that. Also, Laura, don't forget on the 10th of 10th of October, I have the political forum.
Yes.
At City Hall. Thank you for the mayor and them letting us have that. And that is right before they start early voting.
Yes.
And we want to make sure that that everyone gets informed before that. That's why we made it a little earlier this time.
Mm-hmm.
So excited about that. Then on the 29th, Florida. You and I are going to be at the Stevens Museum.
Yes,
And
for the
a lot-
Boo Bash.
A lot of fun.
Super excited.
Fun.
5 to 6:15.
Yep, going to be there.
Just in time to get up to the square for the parade. Halloween parade.
Yep.
Super excited.
And you said we couldn't do it all. We'll do
Oh,
it.
absolutely.
baby,
we'll
we're
do
gonna
it all and a little more.
All right, let's thank our sponsors.
Absolutely. We want to thank Meadowview Healthcare, Walmart, Salem Crossing, Hoosier Uplands, Celebrity Home Loans, Dr. Black's Eye Associates, Dr. Mindy Gunn, and Fox Curly Wealth Management.
Yeah, thank you to our great sponsors.
Good luck to all of our football boys tonight.
Be safe, too.
Yes.
Stay safe, too.
Stay safe, stay healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. Bye-bye.
Happy Friday.
Remember when you had your birthday party at McDonald's, playing with your family and friends, enjoying cake and that one-of-a-kind McDonald's food and drink? If you're looking for a fun and safe place to have a party for your children or grandchildren, look no further. Party time is back at McDonald's right here in Salem, Mitchell, and West Baden. That's right, hosted birthday parties are back, baby! Call event coordinator Renee Lewis at 812-788-0126 to schedule your birthday for Salem, Mitchell, or West Baden today. The party includes food and drink for up to 10 guests, with your choice of white or chocolate cake ice cream for each child, a gift for the birthday boy or girl, goodie bags for each child, and a festive decorated party area. Parties at Salem allow children to play, while the McDonald's in Mitchell and West Baden will feature age-appropriate games. Let McDonald's make your child's next birthday party stress-free for you and fun for them. Call Renee at 812-788-0126 today and get your next party on the schedule at McDonald's.
This is Melissa Jeremiah with Hoosier Uplands Home Health Care and Hospice. Our professionals are available at 812-849-4447 to answer any questions you have regarding home health care or hospice. The summer heat is upon us. When working outdoors, make sure and stay hydrated. Also check on your neighbors who are homebound. Consider donating a fan or window unit to those who are without. Our family at Hoosier Uplands wishes you a safe summer.
If it's the first Tuesday of the month, then you know it's Customer Appreciation Day at our local Salem, Indiana Papa John's Pizza. Get a hand-tossed or a thin-crust large 2-topping pizza for only $6.99 the first Tuesday of every month. Use promo code CAD2022 when ordering online at papajohns.com. Or order 2 and get it delivered. Call 812-883-3369 or stop by the corner of Main and Hackleberry Streets for your hot, fresh pizza today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Coffee with friends, family dinners, watching the grandkids play soccer on Saturdays, church on